That's the sovereignty of God. But you see, the mistake people make when they call God sovereign is to assume that it means that everything that is happening to individuals is according to the plan. You understand? They assume that everything happening to individuals is according to the plan. No, sir. Or better still, if God wants it, it will happen. Shall I say, you should marry me? You say no. No problem. Let's be watching. If it is the will of God, whether you like it or not, you will marry me. Even if it's in the dream, you must marry me. Witchcraft. What's gonna be is gonna be. What goes up must come down. There's nothing we can do about it. If God wants me to succeed, you know that's how they talk. If God wants me to succeed, I will succeed. Look at that. The sovereignty of God. They reduce it, they assume it's things happening to individuals. So they assume that everything happening to individuals is according to the plan. See, in God's sovereignty, which cannot be changed, he gave man a choice. In God's sovereignty, which can never be changed, he gave man a choice. That choice cannot be changed. The fact that God gave man a choice cannot be changed by any situation. It will not be changed because something happened to Adam. God has given his word concerning humanity to choose. And whether Adam abused that choice right or not, man will always have the right to choose. That is God's sovereignty that cannot be changed. He has given man the right to choose. Whether man abuses it or not, God will never retrieve that right from man. That's sovereignty. Teaching good? That's sovereignty. Let me explain that. You know, people say God is in control of everything. God wants it to happen. God is in control of this. God is in control of that. That's not true. That's not true. See, I'm counting my words, right? In this service. Okay. That's not true. God is not the one making things happen. Well, you can say in a sense that God made it happen by allowing it happen, but even that won't be correct anyway. Let's look at the concept of sin, which is fundamental. For example, pay attention. Because sin really explains to you God's sovereignty in salvation. If God is in control of everything, I want you to know there are those proponents. In fact, I remember some years ago, a few of them like that. I think they say they are Reformed theologians or something. Reformed theologians. They were trying to call me out. That me, I only preach the love of God, the love of God, the love of God, the love of God. I don't preach the sovereignty of God, and I don't preach the justice of God. That all I'm doing is love, 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 love. All Dr. Damina is preaching is sugar-coated messages. And they were trying to call me out. They wanted me to come out to the gallery so we can have some engagements. It's not everybody I engage. I count and I choose my battles. There are battles that are just a waste of energy. If I discover you're going to waste my energy, I reserve it. Because I have 30 days of glory to preach. You have nothing to do. All you want to do is argue, eat a bar, and sleep. Me, I have responsibility. So it's not everybody I answer. You say, Damina is just preaching love, love, love. Damina does not know that God has justice. God is sovereign. And God has judgment. Well done. And you are still moving around. God has judgment. You are still moving around. You have not paid for that lie you told. You have not paid for that wickedness in your heart. You know, Damina doesn't preach the judgment side of God, the other side of God. Those reform guys, they were just making themselves happy in foolishness. The proponents of God's sovereignty, when it gets to sin, they now back out. They now back out. You shouldn't back out. Oh. if that's the way we're going, let's go. But when it gets to sin, when they are doing all this solving, justice, judgment, the moment you bring sin, which is fundamental, they back out. They develop cold feet. You know why? They back out because if they insist that nothing happens without God, then God is responsible for sin. The moment you maintain that narrative, you must maintain it to its logical conclusion. If God is in control of everything, then God is also in control of sin. That's where that theology collapses. It can't stand the test of time. In fact, Paul said God is not the author of confusion. But you know there is confusion, right? But God is not the author. God is the author of faith. He's not the author of confusion. Okay? And God is not the author of sin. God is not the author of sin. You can say he is the creator and he is the one who gave the right to the person that is causing confusion. He gave the right to the person. But he didn't give the right to the person to cause confusion. Neither did he give the right to the person not to cause confusion. But he gave the right to the person. You didn't hear what I said. He didn't give the right to the person to cause confusion. Neither did he give the right to the person not to cause confusion. But he gave the person the right. Hello? The moment God gave man the right to choose, the sovereignty of God is that he gave man the right to choose, and nobody can change that right from man, irrespective of how man uses it. But within the choices that men will make, there is already judgment in the choices. It's not God judging. It is a consequence of choice. I'm teaching? Okay, look at sin. We cannot call sin God's commission. We can call sin God's permission. Sin is not God's commission. Sin is God's permission. God does not cause anyone to sin, but God permits a man to sin. He doesn't cause anyone to sin, but he permits man to sin. In the right that he gave man as a result of his sovereignty, which cannot change. I'm teaching good. The same way he permits man to sin is the same way he permits man not to sin. And both actions, to sin or not to sin, are dependent on man. Let me show you something. James chapter 1 verse 13. James chapter 1 verse 13. PJ, read carefully.
Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man.
This already takes away God does everything. Let no man say when he is tempted, I'm tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. And we will also see that temptation does not come from the devil as people believe it. That will be an arbitration. Temptation does not come from the devil. Temptation does not happen because of the devil.